Howdy, friends and family. Thank you so much for joining me. This is day 19 in the series I'm doing called In the Midst, and we are in part 4 looking at love from the definition we get in 1 Corinthians 13. And we talked about humility last time and how we are neither superior nor inferior to other people based on the skills that we have. And we looked at how God, though, is greater and superior to all of us, and how we are to look for the needs of others first. And so today we are looking at the next phrase in our definition, which is love is not rude. This is actually one of 2 times where this Greek word is used in the Bible, and it's the only time it's used to mean rude. And it's also, this is the only time rude is really used in the Bible at all. And so we are going to first turn to Matthew 22 verses 37 through 40, which says, "He said to him, 'Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the greatest and most important command. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and prophets depend on these 2 commands.'" And so far, we have talked a lot about this love for people. It's also important to think about the love towards God. And so here we see that love is supposed to be shown to God and to people. And so when we think about that hierarchy that we looked at last week, this idea that God is superior to all of them, we understand this command that we are supposed to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind. And that is the first and greatest commandment. And so looking at this word rude, first we are supposed to not be rude to God. Now, being rude is lacking refinement or delicacy, being offensive in manner or action, being discourteous. So you might think of a rude gesture or a rude saying, a rude remark. Your actions can be rude to others, but it is just being offensive to other people, to God. And so the first thing we need to do is, if we're first supposed to love God, then first we are supposed to not be rude to God. We are not supposed to offend or be offensive to God. Now, unfortunately, sin is offensive to God, and we are sinners. So it feels like we're kind of stuck up between a rock and a hard place here. It's like, okay, well, don't be rude, but we're going to sin because of our sinful nature. But thankfully, because of what Jesus did for us, He made us righteous. He wiped our sins away so that when God sees us, He no longer sees the offensive sin, but He sees His Son who died for us and saves us. And so we are supposed to strive to not be rude to God. This is that active side of things. But we know that when we are rude, when we sin, that we are forgiven. Now, the other side of this, the second part, is to love your neighbor as yourself. And we see this idea that we are to do to others as we would have done to us, which comes from Matthew 7:12. And so we are supposed to love our neighbor as well, which means we are trying not to offend them. This means trying to seek peace, being courteous, respecting them, thinking of their needs first, like we talked about the other day. We are supposed to love them, and be loving them, we choose not to be rude. We choose to be the opposite of rude, which is being courteous and respecting them. So this week, as you go about your day, not only seek not to sin, but also seek to be courteous of others. Think about their needs, respect them, because they are a child of God, just like you are. If you're looking for a verse to memorize, we're going to be working on Colossians 3, verses 14 through 15. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys next time.